Hi, everyone. We have LA Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney with us now. We'll go ahead and jump straight into questions. We'll go first to Josh Yesman with Corner of the Galaxy. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, I'm sure it was a difficult one for you. Just your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on Williams' tackle, and was there any concern about him having a concussion after the collision with Bond?
Thoughts on the game first. I thought in the first half, uh, uh, we were okay. I didn't feel like we were necessarily in a position to lose the game. They were obviously sitting a little bit and playing us on the counter. And I thought our problems were really of our own making in the first half. It was too much possession, kind of for the sake of possession, and not enough organizing our attacks and trying to finish attacks and attack the opposition. And so, because we were just so, in a way, passive with our possession, we were playing into the hands of a counter-attacking team. And I thought that became a little bit of our problem. Ball was too slow, losing balls between the lines. Then they would try to counterattack out of that, and they had some moments in that. Really, I was hoping we could get to halftime because I felt like the adjustment and the conversation that we needed to have as a group would really help us moving into the second half. And then, the tackle happens and the game changes and it's flipped on its head immediately. So my thoughts on the tackle, it's a tackle that it's going to be a red card every single time. I mean, it's for me, it was almost for Derek like a delayed reaction, and that he probably should have read the play a little bit earlier and been a little bit tighter, and he could have dealt with it in a different way. And then he saw it happen and was just so committed to the challenge at that point that it just became, with an amount of force that's just never gonna be okay. Whether it's this league or any other league, it just becomes a challenge that's going to be a red card every time. So no, there was no concerns of a concussion. He was fine in terms of that side of things. Even now, he's fine. Second half, we wanted to start off the second half with a little bit more of a 4-3-2, just to be able to relieve ourselves of some pressure. Just talking about how we wanted to protect our goal, and the first goal in the first couple of minutes, we get ourselves very separated. We're not protecting the front of the goal. They cross the ball, and we give up a goal very early, which again changes the vision of the game, because now you're playing from behind, down a man, and at that point we didn't really want to just go into a bunker either. It was really about an exercise of, can we manage things and can we protect ourselves and can we play out of the pressure into those two guys. And we had a couple runs at it, but again, nothing sustained and nothing overly. And then again, the goals come. I haven't seen the replay. I was a little bit baffled by the penalty kick goal. I felt like, as I recall it, the ball deflected off of Valeri and was in front of him by about 3 or 4 yards. And I don't know, I'd have to see it again, but that one was a little bit confusing to me and trying to understand it. Maybe I'll get it when I look at it on replay, but that's beside the point in the end. We had a lot of lessons to take out of that. We've already talked a bit as a team after, and I think the response of the guys is going to be good as it was last time, but a lot of things that we have to take away if we want to, get to where we want to get to.
Greg, the play of Jonathan Bond as well obviously kept you in the game for most of that time. Can you talk about him over the last 5-6 games?
Yeah, I think Jonathan has been outstanding. I can't really think of too many wrong steps over the course of that time, and I think he's obviously made some huge saves. Did again today, and unfortunately we couldn't use those huge saves to be a catapult towards anything really, to give us a chance to get a result. Especially obviously in the second half. But I think again, his maturity back there, his decisions, capacity to make saves when we need him to make saves has been excellent. And by and large, that has helped us to get to the point total that we've been at today. It didn't serve us. It didn't serve us the way we needed to when he plays like that, because the dam broke and we weren't able to obviously down a man create enough on the other side to get ourselves back into it.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Josh. We'll go next to Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. I know it was a tough game for you guys. Just curious, I want to know your thoughts on Kevin Cabral. I know it was his actual first game, and just your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some things in there that were takeaways. He's looking to attack. He's looking to combine off people. I think some of those connections didn't really connect today. So I thought today he's learning, and he's going to learn quickly the physical nature of this league, and the expectation to be able to play in the physical combative league like this, which is what a lot of young players are, and players coming from wherever they come from, especially if they're from Europe, have to rectify a bit. And when they come here, is they've got to be more physical. They've got to compete at a different level to match some of the physical nature of our league. Technically, I think fine. Again, I thought is really where he lost out on the day was just some of the physical duels and some of the physical actions. I think we got to continue to get his fitness level up so he can repeat some more high intensity, high speed, high whatever intensity volume. But again, it's the first game, it's the first start. It's a very difficult place to play. We went down to 10 men. Some of the reading of his teammates was okay at times, and still in process, which I think is normal. Most important thing again is just a young man who still physically is filling out, is going to have to learn and to work to meet the physical standard of MLS, which he will get to. It's his first game, and again against a very mature opponent who made it difficult for him.
Thanks, Gio. We'll go next to Jonathan Seagal with MLS. Jonathan, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. Defensively, how do you see this team coping without Derek moving forward? He seems to have played a big role and absorbed a leadership capacity. How do you feel about what the group can do going into San Jose? Obviously, a big one with more on the line in terms of the history those clubs share.
Yeah, I mean, I think as any situation, when you lose one, the next guy has to be able to step up. I thought Nick had a good start and had some good moments early in the season. Came into a very difficult situation in this game, and so there were challenges presented to him that were different than normally if you're 11v11. So whether it's Nick or whomever, we will have to manage it in a better way. But the next guy just has to step up. We've been doing it all year with young guys, with center backs, with different guys, and so it will have to be that. And the leadership role back there is going to fall to to Dan or Nick or one of those guys in the middle, plus Jonah and whoever is in the defensive midfield role. I just have to assume that. So, again, I wasn't overly concerned with some of the stuff in the first half. The second half, I think we highlighted some areas that we have to continue to really improve and become more mature about the process of where we're headed.
And just one more being, how much, if anything, do you read into the results in the bigger sense of what you guys are trying to do here? Is it kind of like, hey, the red card just threw everything out the window to some degree? Because you guys are right in this game up until, what was it, minute 44? Do you read into this at all or not too much?
No, I think, the early part of the season for every team in MLS, the championship's not won, the Supporters Shield is not won today, or whatever those things are, the playoffs. We, especially as a team that's coming together now and adding new players and building, all of these are experiences. We may or may not face this type of situation again down the road when the points become clearer and more things are on the line and things are more evident. So it has to be a learning day, of which I'll take things away from it as a coach and our group, but things we can work on, but also individually on how we need to improve. And so, yeah, the points always matter because we're always here to take something away. But at the end of the day, in this moment of the season, we have been able to give ourselves a little bit of a cushion to have some learning moments that you're going to have over the course of 34 games. And today was for sure. The second half was one of those. Even the first half, to be honest, the team forced us to have to create opportunities against a lower block, and we weren't as effective at that in the first half, and we need to become better at that. So for me, two very different halves, two lessons to take from each half, and we will build off of those as we continue to move forward.
Thanks, Jonathan. We'll go to the last question with Chris Maldonado. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, thanks for the time.
Yep.
You talk about these lessons, and I agree there are lessons even to be learned from a loss. What are some good takeaways from this game? And also, what's the situation like with Samuel? It seemed like he was signaling or at least pointing at his ankle. Is it an ankle injury?
On the injury side, I believe it's an ankle issue. I don't know if he got caught up in the turf or if he rolled it. I just don't know yet. I don't have an update. I was more focused on at the time on getting somebody else in and getting us reorganized. So I'll have to check in on him. In terms of some of the positives, again, I thought in the first half some of our setup play is okay, but it's recognizing where the attack needs to go and the speed of it needs to be more purposeful, and we need to be more aggressive at when the moment is there to start attacking with the intent to create chances, to get behind our opposition, to force them to have to defend their box and their end line and their goal and all that. So I think some of our ideas on how to connect to each other and depending on how the team is defending us, how to organize ourselves was okay at times. So I think in the first half, because we had a fair amount of the ball, that was something that was decent. I think we managed some transitions okay. Still a lot of takeaways from that. I think the guys they continue to compete and to work today. The challenges were big on that side of things, but they continue to put that shift in and work. So there's things again that we continue to take away, but our standard is we're trying to get to a team that can win championships and compete for championships, and so we're going to keep looking at the ways we can improve and the things that we need to take away from a day like today. Again, given two very different halves and two very different sort of lessons and takeaways.
Thanks, Greg. That's all we'll take for today. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and jump straight back into questions. I'll go first again to Josh Gessman with Corner of the Galaxy. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Seba. Obviously a tough loss for you guys. I'm sure it's not what you wanted. What can you take away from this game? Certainly the first half looked like you guys were maybe on the front foot and pressing, and then obviously the red cards to Williams puts you guys in a hole. Are there some positives here?
Yeah, no, obviously it's a disappointing result. I thought first half, I thought we had the ball a lot, and I think that's obviously the style that we want to play, and we want to be we just didn't threaten their back line enough, and we didn't create the types of opportunities that we are trying to build and attacks and trying to finish attacks, and that just didn't happen. So that was a little bit frustrating, but and to finish the first half a red card, it's just it's unfortunate. And yeah, I mean, once you go down a man, especially against Portland in Portland, it's going to be a tough game. And so yeah, very unfortunate, but I rather have these types of games now and learn from it. And I think there's a lot of things that we can look back on and be like, okay, we need to do better there. So I'd rather that happen now than later.
Greg said that he talked to you guys after this game, that you had a little bit of a chat. What was he trying to communicate to you guys after this game? Is it a story of taking steps forward onto the next game, or what?
Yeah, I thought we just, I mean, obviously we need to bounce back from this and learn from this, and there's a lot of things tactically that we want to get right, and things that we go into games wanting to do, and I think we just didn't execute them in the fashion that we wanted to, especially in the first half when we had 11 men. So that that was disappointing from us. If you just look at us and not the opponent or what the opponent did, just what we did to ourselves. And even if maybe people don't even notice, but it's things that we want to do. And but yeah. I thought he was positive, and again just reinforcing that we rather this happen now than later.
Thanks, Seba. Travel safe.
Thank you.
We'll go to one question from Gio Garcia before closing out with one question from Chris Maldonado. Gio, go ahead.
Hey, Sebastian. I know you just talked about it, but what do you think made it so challenging for you guys in this game? I think in a game like this, sometimes you guys have to be a little bit more creative. They're either in the midfield, the offensive game, but was it more of the Portland Timbers side, or is it just because you guys weren't in sync with each other in the first half?
I think it's a game of two halves. I think in the first half, we probably lacked a little bit of creativity. It's obviously Kevin's first game, so we're integrating another new player, which is obviously it's tough on him as well. So it's like, you need time with that. But then second half, yeah, you're going 45 minutes plus down a man. And yeah, this is an experienced Portland team. I've played Portland many times, and they're a very mature team. and they know what they're doing. And although I thought in the first half they didn't create much, I thought we did dominate in a lot of the times. But again, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, when you're down a man, it's very tough, man.
Chris, go to you for the last question. Go ahead.
Hey, Sebastian. It's never easy to play in Portland. It's always a tough game.
Yeah.
Next week won't be any easier. You guys are going up against a rival in San Jose. Always a tough game as well. How do you prepare yourself mentally? How do you get over this recent loss? How do you prepare for that?
I think we take a couple days, not too long, but definitely a couple days to look back on this game and see where we could have done better. And I know there's Greg's definitely gonna want to do that. And then we start focusing on the opponent and really just focusing on their strengths, their weaknesses, and kind of take it from there. I mean, San Jose is another tough team who play an unorthodox type of way of playing. So it definitely won't be easy, but I'm definitely sure that we're gonna be ready, and we just gotta move on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian. We appreciate your time. That's all we'll take for today. Safe travels home.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. We'll go ahead and conclude today's media call with